The rune system in League of Legends is probably the most flexible it's ever been. Champions have multiple legitimate rune pages, depending on preference and other champions in the game. So it's more important than ever to understand what runes you should take and when you should take them, so you can make informed, meaningful choices. In this video, we're going to go over the light blue inspiration tree, looking at what the runes do and when you should consider taking them. The light blue tree has 3 keystones to choose from, starting with Glacial Augment. After immobilizing an enemy, 3 icy rays come out from them towards you and other enemy champions, which creates zones on the floor. Enemies who stand in these are slowed and deal reduced damage to your allies. If you're taking this, you're saying I can regularly hard CC my opponents and I want to be rewarded with additional CC and damage reduction. You should consider this on champions where you're easily able to lock down your opponent like Janna and Nautilus. Your second choice is Unsealed Spellbook. This allows you to swap between summoner spells after a decent cooldown between each. If you're taking this, you're saying you want to be able to choose the best summoner spell for each situation. This isn't used that often at the moment, but it can be useful on champions to get a teleport if needed, a ghost if needed, or even an exhaust or ignite. Your final choice is First Strike. After damaging or CCing your opponent, you gain a small amount of gold and activate the First Strike buff. This buff makes all follow-up damage after the first hit deal 10% additional damage as true damage. And after the combat is over, you get gold for the bonus true damage dealt, getting slightly reduced gold if you're ranged. However, it's important to understand that if you're hit first, this will go on cooldown. If you're taking this, you're saying you'll usually be the one to land the first hit in a fight, and you want to be rewarded with additional damage and gold. You should consider this on champions with good poke who can follow up like Xerath, or on champions with good engage and make good gold from it like Kha'Zix. The first row of minor runes is the Contraption Row. Your first choice is Hex Flash. When your flash is on cooldown, it's replaced with a Hex Flash, which after a 2.5 second charge up time will flash you. You should consider this on champions who want to engage, especially if they're able to Hex Flash from a brush like Leona and Nautilus. Your second choice is Magical Footwear. After 12 minutes, you get a free pair of boots with a bonus 10 movement speed. However, you can't buy boots before this. Also, for each unique takedown, you get these 4 to 5 seconds faster. And your final choice is Perfect Timing. After 14 minutes, you get a free stopwatch, which provides a Zhonya's effect. For each unique takedown you get, the time to receive the stopwatch is reduced by 2 minutes. The second row is the Tomorrow Row. Your first choice is Futures Market, which allows you to go into debt to buy items. You can borrow a small amount of money from the shop to buy items, however you get charged an additional 50 gold whenever you make use of this. Only really consider this if you have a very specific plan for your champion. Your next choice is Minion Dematerializer. This gives you an item which can be used to instantly kill a minion and has 3 charges. After killing a melee, ranged, or cannon minion, your damage against that type of minion is permanently increased. You should consider this if you need help farming. Your final choice is Biscuit Delivery. At 2, 4, and 6 minutes in the game, you gain a biscuit which restores a small amount of missing health and mana and permanently gives 50 mana. You should consider this if you want a small amount of sustain and a good chunk of mana. The final row is the Beyond Row. Firstly, we have Cosmic Insight, which grants Summoner Spell and Item Haste. You should consider this if you want to be using Summoner Spells and items more often. Next, we have Approach Velocity, where you gain movement speed towards CC'd enemies and a lot of movement speed if you're the one to CC them. You should consider this if you can easily apply CC and want to chase down your opponents like Ashe and Mundo. Finally, we have Time Warp Tonic, where eating a potion or biscuit immediately gives you 30% of the benefit and a small movement speed increase. This is great if you're starting Corrupting Potion.